Okay, welcome back everyone. As you can see, I put down some fresh Post-it notes just because the other ones were curling up because of the water and gesso mixture and the heat gun. So now I'm going to take my same archival black ink pad and this wonderful Tim Holtz stamp, and I'm just going to stamp randomly over. When you have a stamp like this that has a pattern that's directional, it's always fun to reposition your stamp so that it's going in a different direction every time. It just helps with the randomness of it and the cohesiveness, so that it makes it, I guess random and cohesive is anyways I think you understand what I mean. I'm making myself laugh over here. So I'm just stamping, making sure that I'm getting onto some of the parts of the Post-it notes. And like I said, the Post-it notes are going to create a mask, so whatever obviously I stamp over the Post-it note, you're not going to be able to see. You're not going to be able to see once I remove them. So remembering that it's always good to stamp off the page here a little bit. Alright, so I like that. I'm going to put this off to the side. Now I'm going to take my watercolor crayons, and because we've got a circle theme going on here, I'm just going to draw some circle swirls because that's what I like to do. You can, definitely draw whatever you want. I'm not worrying about it. I just want a different layer. There's obviously going to be lots of things going on. I'm probably more messy than I normally do, but it's all experimenting. It's all about having fun, guys, and that's what art journaling, or one of the reasons why art journaling is so great. Trying different things and seeing how things react. And with this color, I'm just going to do some smaller ones, just kind of loosely. Just going to add a little bit of a different texture and more color to your work. And any part of these steps, you can always add some more stamps and layers. I haven't busted out any scrapbook paper yet or any type of collage paper, but feel free. I am now going to go into some acrylic, just regular craft paint. Just dab it on my palette there. I'm going to take my brush that still has some gesso on it, but I don't worry too much while I'm working through pages about cleaning my brushes completely. You may. It all depends on obviously the look you're going for. If you're working with acrylics or some watercolor paints, you want to try to clean your brushes as well as you can, because obviously it'll muddy your colors if you don't. So I'm just gonna dry brush it almost on. I've taken off most of the water. I'm just adding another layer of goodness on top of this page. So not too much thought, just throwing it down there. I'm going to quickly heat set this because it's craft paint. It's going to dry really fast. But when I apply my glazes on top of this layer, I don't want them to mix with the craft paint and remain truer colors. So we're just going to dry it. So as you can see, you can very faintly, if at all, see the original background, which is perfectly fine. Don't worry about covering up the layers that you started with, especially because we got these Post-it notes going on, and we're gonna, preserve some of that background goodness with the Post-it notes. So you don't have to use Post-it notes. If you're one of those lucky gals that has a Sizzix or Quick Cuts or a Cricut and you want to die cut some shapes and throw them on here rather than Post-it notes, or you just want to use different pattern paper that are different shapes, feel free. You can use circle die cuts, whatever you want, whatever paper is gonna turn out into the same type of mask. So try out different things. Next, I'm going to go on to some golden glaze, and I'm going to apply it directly to the page in probably 3 different areas, maybe over here. And at this point, I'm going to use my fingers just to Sorry, just to brush it on there. It's okay, I meant to do that, right? No worries. What I just did there was before I played with that spot of glaze, I picked up some craft paint I had over here and kind of mixed it, and see how it kind of changed the color, changed the translucency of it. Just kind of, because I wanted a little bit more. I'm going to add a tiny bit more of the glaze over here. So obviously the glaze is going to be much more translucent than the heavy body, and definitely more translucent than the craft paint. So I'm going to let that dry a few seconds before I wipe it off. If you wipe it off when it's completely wet, you'll get one look. If you wait a minute or two and start wiping it off, you'll definitely get more of a grunged, more of a textured look. So I'm just going to wipe it off in places so that it doesn't make it look so bold. Because you started off with watercolor crayons, sometimes you're going to go right down, you can go right down to the original gesso. It all depends on how much texture or the look that you're going for. I'm going to do this one up here. So now you can barely see some of the parts where I put the watercolor crayon on top of the layer. It just adds another layer. It was just something fun to do. I think I will go back in because this page is looking slightly green, even though that it's not quite dry yet. I'm going to just randomly go over some more. So I'm going to reveal this as a finish of this last step. Guys, I've been so touched and excited and just thrilled to see all the pages that you guys are creating based on these little tutorials. Oh, it's so refreshing. I just have the hugest smile on my face every time I see a new email that somebody said they created something that they love and something that's fun. So happy to inspire you guys. So here is the grand reveal. Because I use color values that are somewhat similar than the colors, excuse me, that I originally started with, you can just see that there's there's barely a difference. And we're going to add obviously more layers on here so that you can see a difference. At this point, just to help you, you can take your crayon and start outlining. And I'm just being very loose here, guys. You can be as loose or as structured as you want. Just loosely where I thought the post. You can leave the post-its on and do this if you want to make sure that you're getting more of a precise distinction between the two. And I like to, even though there was a post-it note there, I like the square type pattern, so I'm just going to follow that a little bit. I don't have my water brush with me, but at this point you can take your brush with a little bit of water and just try to blend those watercolor crayons a little bit so that it's not such a hard line. So you'll get something nice and smooth. And you can obviously do this with a marker as well, or any type of paint. You just get out your acrylics and a small brush and paint it. So you notice I haven't picked up any more water. This brush was already pretty wet as it is. So I hope you enjoyed this. I really like how this is turning out so far. There's going to be obviously a lot more layers and a lot more distinction in between the two parts, and we're going to do some fun things within these squares. So hope you guys are having a great day out there. I'll be back in a few hours for my Art from the Couch vlog. Got a big announcement, so I hope you'll come back. Have a great day, everyone. Much love.